evening. It is April 8th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. Hey, asshole, what separates our show from other millennial news podcasts?
I got nothing. What?
We have a boomer, and not just any boomer. We have Mr. Boomer Rex himself.
Hey, boomers, when you come to get me, bring something to cut the bracelet off my foot.
Oh, shush.
Hey, boomers, you better all fucking come.
Yeah, I think asshole and I can take most of you. All right, you two eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm learning that 3 unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table, which is more of an oval table now because we've moved. Yay!
Yeah.
All right, let's dig right into our headlines. Russia is committing international war crimes in Ukraine, says European Parliament president.
I'd send troops in to secure the evacuation routes.
Oh,
I do
God,
that.
yeah.
Oh, and we need
And with a warning that if you kill a U.S. troop, we will respond.
Yeah, we're at war.
In fact, if it looks like you're going to try, we will respond.
No,
And I'd
again,
put
I
up a
don't
combat air
understand
patrol.
why we aren't protecting, because we've known that they've fired on
and they've
and
detained the Red
bombed
Cross
stuff.
and all the rest, and it's right. The next up in the ante is: are you going to detain U.S. troops? Do
Yeah.
you think that's going to work out well?
No, and the fact that the only real safe routes out of Ukraine right now is into Russia,
Yeah, no.
that is...
Yeah,
You're not going to
We
lay your
need
hands
the-
on these people.
we
They
need the security for
have...
Chernobyl back. They were taken into Russia
This is not... It's
after
not
being
good.
kept in the.
It's not
bunker.
good, people.
But sorry, you were.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us.
So, anyway, European Parliament President Roberta Metsola told CNN that the missile strike at the train station and other attacks on Ukraine are war crimes being committed against sovereign people. So, anyway, but she also went on to say, Europe is funding this war directly or indirectly, and must take responsibility for not acting earlier to stop the war.
All right.
Why have we sheltered Putin, his family, the oligarchs, and the people who support him in Europe by selling them our passports, our citizenship, by allowing them to hide their money in our countries, and we need to make sure this does not happen again. So I think Putin has made the worst mistake of his life.
I hope so.
I think we are beginning to see
Or he's
Europe...
fractured the EU, which I'm also a fan of. So
Fair.
Well, but the EU is massively together at this point.
I just know I like that, and
Except
you
for
don't have-
Hungary, which is, again, just a Putin state. Fuck them.
I put them out.
Yes, I would. And I would sanction them.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'd sanction Belarus, and I'd really China's done playing both sides.
Yeah.
I don't
China
think
needs to
Belarus
pick a
is part
fucking
of the
team.
EU.
No, but they have trade.
We
They
did
can-
sanction Belarus, I
Okay.
saw. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't
some
sure
of
if
the
they were on the
sanctions. Yeah.
But no, I think they
But
get
no,
the
Hungary should be on that
full,
list.
I'd give them the full Warsaw set.
Yep.
Sorry, Poland, I know you're not involved.
I mean,
but
it's not
easier
like
to-
Hungary is a democracy.
Mm-mm.
Right. It's another fascist state.
It's not like
Fuck
we're a
'em.
democracy.
And fuck their friends here.
Yep.
Right? The Putin wing of the Republican Party. Fuck them.
People who think illiberal democracy is the thing that shouldn't be targeted for destruction.
One of the things we should be doing is we should be looking back through financial transactions
Uh-huh.
to find out which prominent members of the GOTP have received large quantities of Russian money. And we should be going and taking that as ill-gotten gains.
Fair, I'm totally down. I don't believe we're a country that can do that. But
I agree.
I would definitely run through the Chamber of Commerce, the NRA, everyone who gave really crazy big donations for a while.
Yep.
And didn't have massive, right? If 2/3 of America joined your organization
You
in
still
the course
wouldn't
of 3
have that
years,
much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's a scale of...
Yeah. Are you looking for the word corruption? No? Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, but...
But I love it. This is Europe being honest with itself.
Yep.
Why have we sheltered
I know.
Putin, his
When
family?
you told
and
me
the-
I was going to like somebody's statement, I was all set for something
Hey,
closer to...
this looks like leadership, and I'm not used to seeing that in the EU.
Who's the crowd who's fucking it up? Schultz. Is that him? And he's going to come up later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's the most impressive statement I've ever heard from anyone in any leadership position from the EU.
Yep.
No, that's at least energy do the moment.
Yep.
So, good job.
Yep. And then on the other side, we have Milquetoast Schultz.
Ah, fucker.
Right. So here's German Chancellor interfering with shipping tanks to Ukraine. Right. It was all set up. It was all done. All they had to do was ship them. And now he wants to wait. And I think the German intelligence community should go back through his life and find out which oligarch is paying him.
Yep.
And then fuck him up.
Yep.
Right. So again, here is Putin's fifth column in Germany.
Yeah.
Right. And in a leadership position.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we don't need this shit.
No.
They can get on with the program, or we can find out why they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we do the same thing here.
I was hoping.
All right. So let's move on to MAGA. Populism is a con job.
Yeah, we've known this for so long, right?
Now, first of all, can I interrupt you to describe to people what the term populism means? Because I've heard this word thrown around a lot,
Okay.
and I would like a solid definition, and I feel like maybe some of our viewers out there who are more like me might also like a solid definition of this.
You asking for the internal definition, or are you giving us Merriam-Webster?
Well, I can give you the Merriam-Webster. if you
Let's
give
start
me
there, and then we'll
exactly
do
2
the other.
seconds.
So, I like snow cones, nacho cheese. Seriously, we need an airship to the internet. You don't even know.
Oh, an airship would be fucking amazing. Populism
Like, we'll do war
refers
crimes.
to a range of political stances that emphasize the idea of the people, and often just juxtapose. God, I've heard that word and I don't even know how to pronounce it. That's crazy. This group against the elite. The term developed in the late 19th century and has been applied to various politicians,
enough.
parties, and movements since
We've
that
got
time.
enough.
And is
Everybody
often,
is speaking for
This is the
pejorative?
people.
rising up against the man. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost always
against
fake.
the elite who
Yeah.
control the country.
Notice elites. Remember all those times it was bad for elites ever.
Right,
Once in France, kind of.
But
Yeah.
we all know that Republicans are
Oh, for
aggressively
sure.
not populist.
The
Well,
parties.
we need look no further than the January 6th violent insurrectionists
Right.
who have been utterly abandoned by the GOTP and Trump, right? Just left to their fate in
They're
jails
losers,
in
they got
D.C.
caught.
What?
They're losers.
Losers
they
who got caught. And I'm quite sure that's how they're referred to
Yes.
by the GOTP elite. But you notice who's being defended,
Mhm.
right? Notice
The
who
RNC's
is
paying for Trump.
suing not to turn over their texts, and
Yeah, yeah.
not to turn over their documentation. They're defending
Everybody who
the
went to
Republican elite. So we've known for years that there was nothing populist about Trump and the
But it is good
GOTP.
wallpaper. It always works.
Yeah.
They really play a cute game. They try to get the people
Yeah.
all excited about something like LGBTQ, which means nothing to them.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Then they write some idiotic laws that we Democrats conveniently scream about, and it divides the country, and it gives the GOTP and leaders like Trump something that they can focus on for the election, that nothing they do will ever make the people's life better. In fact, it'll make it worse.
Oh, and it aggressively does. They talk about tax cuts and stuff, and they say, "Oh, we're
And
going to
it's
do
tax cuts for the rich.
The problem is, that these tax cuts that they're always talking about,
Yep.
they never go to the people who think that they're going to get them. And I don't understand why people haven't figured this out yet. How come every time there's tax cuts, I don't get anything?
Yeah, well,
Why
you think
haven't
they'd
people
learn
figured
after
this
a
out?
while.
No, but they haven't, and that's the problem. Is that they keep believing it, and they keep and they believe when the Republicans are all like, "No, it was the Democrats. They kept us from giving you the tax cuts you deserve because they want to tax us. Us? Can you believe they want us
The
to pay
working
what you
class
pay?
that make
What you
$400,000.
pay? That's terrible.
Yeah.
How could I ever pay what you pay on taxes? That's billions of dollars I don't have. That is terrible."
Yeah,
That's a
but the
delightful
idea
breakdown of
is to
that.
get you focused on something that they,
Yeah.
just pass some more brutally repressive laws against the LGBTQ community.
Well, and remember,
Right, and you'll be all excited and you're kicking down just like you're supposed to be and punishing the weakest. And it didn't cost them anything.
No.
And then they go off and they give the tax breaks to the rich, and they give the money to the corporations.
Right.
And like the funds that were supposed to keep people from being evicted.
Yep.
Right? And so what happened is the corporations got the money, and then they evicted the people.
Or didn't renew their lease, which isn't illegal because we don't know how to write a federal program anymore.
Fair.
And again, it's the look at what happened to the payroll protection program. Totally ripped for, we think, about $80 billion.
Yeah.
Right?
The pay increases we got to get military.
And it all went to companies and crooks.
Troops off.
Right? Very little
Food
of it
stamps.
managed to trickle down to actual people.
Right.
So again, if you think for a second that when the Republicans talk about the people, that they're talking about you, you're a fool.
Oh, God.
Because you are not their demographic.
No, not
they
even a
want
little
your
bit.
vote. The last thing they want to do is help you with taxes
Or
or
anything.
health care or any of
Or
the
your
things
job.
that would make your,
And not having to work 90 hours a week would be
to
great.
make a living.
Would be great.
But no, it wouldn't be great. It would inconvenience
Not having
all
to work
those.
4 jobs.
It would inconvenience
That'd be
all
great.
those oligarchs who give huge sums of money to the GOTP and to Trump.
And would foster a sense of laziness.
No,
Right.
the fact that they like have convinced these people that it is their fault that they have to work this many jobs. It's their
And
fault
if they
for
could
not
only,
for not being inventive enough, for not
and
being
if they,
creative
and
enough,
if they
for not
could
just
only kick down harder,
grinding.
if they could only kick down harder and be more jealous of those less fortunate than themselves, that it would get better. It is a party of hatred and
God, yeah.
bigotry,
And uses
and it is today. It is the Nazi party.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, they're always talking about those globalists. It's always about the globalists.
Yeah, some fraction of them do.
Anyway. Alright, let's move on. I need some good news, sir. Tell me about BoomerRex's About Damn Time.
Oh, do we have good news and about damn time?
Yeah, we do. It's good news.
Oh, yeah. So the leader of the right-wing Proud Boys militia pleaded guilty to 2 charges. The sentences could be up to about 28 years. And
Sorry.
he is now cooperating with the prosecutors. So we'll get some inside news on how they were getting ready for the insurrection and who coordinated with who and who coordinated with Trump and so on. It's going to be great to watch.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for this. That's going to be good thing.
So they had set up a national rally planning chapter. That was the, right.
Oh, did they have like a private chat room or some shit?
Oh, I'm sure they did.
On 4chan,
Lots
I
of them.
bet.
So if he was in any
Probably
of them,
have
we'll get
Telegram or
everything.
Signal.
So anyhow,
Oh, yep. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
but the point is that we now have an understanding that there were 200 to 300 Proud Boys on the Capitol compound.
Oh, yeah.
That they were the ones who pushed the original barriers back and then led the
I
violent
watched the
assault
video,
on the
yep.
Capitol building. So, if that was planned, right, that's a very serious charge.
Yep.
And it'll be made against a bunch of folks.
Well,
And
it
they're
was
poor, so
aggressively
there's a good
planned
chance
because,
they're fucked.
They're fucked.
Yeah, no, the Proud Boys were, so remember
Second
that
only to the 3%.
video that I broke down about the January 6th insurrection?
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched it, go back. Actually, I'll share a link to it. But anyway, I watched a breakdown of it, and the Proud Boys, they were prepared. They came prepared. They had full vests.
Oh, yeah.
They were tagged. They had, I think they were the ones in orange. I don't remember
Yeah, they had a
exactly, but
specific
they were marked.
identifier. Yeah.
They were identified, and you saw them moving in groups. They'd get in lines behind each
Yeah.
other, and
So,
yeah.
hey, federal prosecutors, you should be working with state prosecutors so that the long prison terms are assigned for the state felony
And can't be overturned by
and
the federal
cannot
pardon.
be overturned by a federal pardon.
Ooh, I like that. That is brilliant.
Yep.
That's good.
You're going to work to put them away. Put them away.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah.
that they stay there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Again,
I
it's
love
not
it.
like Trump or the GOTP are defending them, right? They're just
gonna
forgotten.
be
They're
honest with
just
you.
losers.
I'm not sure that even if Trump gets reelected, which I worry more and more could happen, but I'm not sure even if he does get reelected that he's going to bother letting any of these people off.
No, he mostly, if you look at who he pardoned people who were, rich enough to
Yeah,
funnel
I
some
think-
money his way.
I think if any,
He's a worker
if
Navy
any,
SEAL.
I think that if any governors or senators or anything like that, or any
Yeah, he'd
state
probably pardon
officials,
them.
I think
Yeah.
he'll pardon them. But I think the small fry, I think he'll leave them to rot.
That's
I really
just
do.
too much work.
It is.
I don't.
We'll
I
see.
think he'll have to make it as a campaign promise to drive up the numbers. And why on earth wouldn't you?
Well,
Because
but
that means
even if he makes it as a campaign promise, I really don't see him following through with it.
I think everyone who's going to sign up with Trump on a second term will not be. I think the people who, the last round of good humans that were willing to work with Trump in the first term,
Right,
won't be there in the second term. Everyone who shows up for the second term, I think, will know they're
It's
taking
going to
power
be a fascist and understand exactly how to impose a fascist government on the U.S.
while keeping enough of the democracy and the corporations around, so CNN and everyone says nice new things about the nice new internal security service, or just lets the FBI rebrand what it's always wanted to be. Remember, the FBI does not want to be law enforcement. They want to be domestic intelligence. That is their DNA. Is wiretapping.
Yeah.
And otherwise they're a goon death squad. Right? That's the other
That's
reason
true.
they were formed, was to stop
No, their goal is to
cross-state
impose a
border
fascist
bank
state
robbery.
here.
They put people without name tapes or badges out to grab organizers.
Yeah.
Americans are about to discover that we learned enough about network analysis. You cannot hold an insurrection in the United States.
All right, so tell me about Dumbass of the Day. This is ridiculous.
So, according to the Lafayette Daily Advertiser, Reverend John Raymond, a Louisiana Republican Party, they're always Republican Party officials,
Of course.
and pastor, has been arrested on charges of child cruelty following reports that he taped children's mouths shut. And when I first saw that, right, I'm envisioning Scotch tape across their mouths and an X saying, "Don't talk."
Or even a piece of, just across the mouth, because I saw that too, and I was like...
That's where I still am.
No, he took them down to his office and wrapped packing tape around their heads.
Around their heads.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
So if
Kill
one of them had had a
somebody,
serious cold,
Yeah.
he'd have had a dead kid.
Or stuffy allergies, anything.
Yeah. Anyway. And then he sent him back
Stop
to
going
class.
to church.
Which is where, at some point, one of the other officials at the school said, no. And
one of the officials. Everyone else was cool with it, but this one dude was like, maybe this isn't okay.
the tape was around their heads and mouths for 45 minutes.
Whoa.
And then another school administrator cut him off and removed the tape. Anyway, the children had complained of pain and trouble breathing, which is exactly what you'd expect. He's lucky something bad didn't really happen to have him up on a murder warrant.
Isn't it bad that I a little bit wish that something bad had happened to one of these kids so that he could go to jail
I wonder
forever?
where these
it's
crazy
bad.
parents who babble about the pro-pedophile shit and all the other stuff, where the fuck are they? How is this story not somebody arrested for having destroyed a, what kind of administrator and pastor?
He's the head of the school.
Like, we'll find out how big your God is. He can show up and stop what's about to
This
happen,
is a,
homie.
quote, Christian school that he runs. I see the Christ-like behavior.
Hold on.
I know that about everyone who identifies as a
So
Christian.
this is like a Catholic or Christian
Christian.
school.
Almost certainly Protestant.
So it's not like a CCD, like a
Who fucking
Sunday.
knows? I don't know. I don't speak Babel.
No, this is a daily Christian school.
Ooh,
yeah. This
that's
is Bishop
even
Gurdon,
worse.
only different.
Our students are encouraged to walk daily with Christ as they grow in maturity and stature. And this is Christ-like behavior. This is the example you're going to give. And he's not going to be locked up. It's truly sad he's not going to be locked up.
No.
What about the time I only see one footprints? That's when I was duct taping your head, son.
Yeah.
God fucking damn these people and their Iron Age faith. Dirt-worshipping vermin.
No, but that's not... There's nothing Christian about what he did.
No.
What he did is fascist.
Yeah.
You shall know them
It's
by
a
their
powerful
works.
man
This is
acting
exactly
against
what
the-
Christians do. Yes.
Acting against the weaker, in this
Can you
case, children.
Point to me a time you think that wasn't the fucking op plan for the every Christian church everywhere? I'm not sure the point wasn't just molesting kids. Like, I am nearly at the point of agreeing with South Park that it's all run by some sort of horrible spider god, and the entire purpose was molesting kids.
What can I say?
That's
We're
certainly
getting
what the
into
Catholic Church.
QAnon shit here.
I would fucking believe it. At least
You know, if I look back at recent news, The one thing I'm pretty sure is true is the Spider God is part of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
They seem to be routinely
No, the spiders,
involved in
they're
this stuff.
really involved, deeply involved, and they're about the size of
Well, I mean,
beetles,
so many of them
bugs.
are
They're not bugs,
they're
harps.
deeply troubled people. They have these sexual needs that conflict with their quote Christian.
Well, with getting elected by people who'd have to shake your hand and would rather be on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway,
All right, let's move on. Hackers flood interwebs with Russian files.
hackers have been after Russian companies, big time,
Good.
and they've been doing all the standard phishing stuff and looking for backdoors in and et cetera and et cetera. They have downloaded like 80 terabytes of data from Russian companies and just handed it off to distributed denial of secrets.
Yeah.
Which is,
I'm
where
going
you
there.
go put stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be there for years.
Yeah.
But initially, I would suggest to our intelligence services that they go mine that, because it's going to have some really interesting oligarch footprints in it.
Yep.
Ooh, we might
And
be
then
able
you
to hunt
should go
some of them
around.
down.
Then you should go around and you should play the game of just walk back the cat.
Yeah.
Pin
Right.
the bullet in the head of the oligarch. I like that. That sounds like fun.
I flip the Germans who know stuff.
Yep. Take the money.
Yep.
Take the enablers' money. Take the right. And again, once you know who they are and so forth, with some of the information from the Russian companies, you may simply be able to reach out and empty a Swiss bank account. And
the
whoever
Swiss
it
are all
belonged
about
to,
it, from what I hear.
Yeah. Sort of, kind of, the way the Swiss usually are. But
Yeah.
they're at least
But
saying
again,
it publicly now.
we should be actively using those resources to hunt oligarchs and their enablers in Europe and in the U.S.
And
And
real
we
money
should be
isn't in
hurting
Switzerland.
them. So,
Where do
So-
people keep real money?
Bahamas.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, you keep running away. You keep the money for when they come for you in Switzerland.
So you can go to Switzerland and have money.
The amount of money you can physically carry is enough to run away. That's it. That's not enough to be an oligarch anymore.
Yeah.
That's enough to be a very happy farmer somewhere.
Fair.
And there's no, the whole point is the anonymity, and because the interest rates are for shit.
Right.
It's just no one invades Switzerland. So they're not going to empty your box.
All right.
but they may not help you get it back if somebody else does.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think the CIA should have for years been doing the graduation prank, being walk into banks dressed as Herr Huzitz and take all the money.
Yep.
And oh no, someone in their family might get
And if
murdered.
they want to
Fuck
complain
'em.
about it,
Who
they
did
know
it?
where
They
to send
took
the
it.
letter.
Here's the videotape. That's
Yeah.
you, Herr Huzitz.
Yeah.
I'm sorry your family
And if you
got
can
it
prove
solved.
you got that money legitimately, we'll discuss giving it back.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Yeah. No. I
Actually,
don't care
10%
how
goes in the CIA
legitimately they
budget,
got it.
and the
I
rest
care
goes
about
as
what they're
a-
doing
There's a
with it.
carrying charge, sure.
Yeah. Oh, incentive program. And
Yeah.
the rest gets, sent to Americans as checks.
Yeah.
Of money we found in the couch cushions.
All right.
Yep.
So I want to make a quick correction. Last night when we were talking about the Secret Service bullshit, about the Secret Service agents, like whatever, I said Israelis.
Yeah.
And it was Pakistanis.
Yeah.
I said Israelis because I saw a news report and in it Israel was mentioned.
Yeah.
Which in my head kind of confused me a bit because that's what you stick to is, whatever. But they were actually Pakistani, so I wanted to make sure that I made that correction because again, we give you the facts here. I'm not trying to fuck around. So, it has been confirmed that they were Pakistani. So, just wanted to make that quick correction.
ISI.
ISI, yes. And I think that's where I got confused was the ISI.
They should know what happens to spies that get caught.
So, anyway.
Does Pakistan have anyone we want to trade for? Then you're about to become the crash test dummy at interrogation school.
So I'm just gonna say real quick that Secret Service should not be covering this.
No.
No, this
some
should
other
be
agency
investigated
should
by
be
a separate
investigating this. And-
U.S. agency with the capability of bringing criminal
And
charges.
maybe not just one, maybe a couple.
Okay.
Maybe working in tandem, maybe working separately, see what conclusions they come up with. I don't care. But I
Yep.
would not trust the Secret Service at this point to look into this. So anyway, Let's move on to confused physicist makes disturbing breakthrough. Physicists make.
So, one of the things that physics has been doing for a number of years is we have a standard model of how the universe works.
Right.
And that standard model predicts that there are specific particles that we have not seen, and it predicts a specific mass number for them.
Right.
So, we have, again, I mean, we're talking peer-reviewed publications and so forth, where people have done everything they can to get it right. Where we have a new particle whose mass is not what was predicted. And it's not what was predicted by a wide enough margin that if it's true, the standard model is in trouble.
So what happens if you plug that number into the standard model?
That's a good
Pooch
question. I
out
don't
somewhere
know.
else?
Yep. So Mrs. Boomer at one point had what I thought was an interesting thought on this. And she said, you know, you physicists are a real hazard to the universe. And I said, what the hell are you talking about? And she says, you keep asking these more and more and more complex questions about the universe. And the universe gives you an answer,
doodle theory.
and then you go off and you explore the answer and discover the answer's not quite right. And the universe has to run off in some other corner and adjust everything so that the answer is right. And she said, one of these days, you're going to ask one too many questions and catch the universe in one too many, swags. And the universe is going to look at you and say, fuck this, I'm tired of playing the game. Here, you take care of it and hand it all to us. And she said, in that moment, the universe will wink out.
That's interesting. No. So, we read books that we call the Skippy books. And it's actually, what's the name of the series?
Expeditionary Force.
The Expeditionary Force.
Yeah.
And they talk a lot about that sort of stuff, like the whole, because Skippy is this like amazing computer, and he keeps like suggesting that, there's only so many things that could happen, and you keep fucking with this. So
sooner or later,
the probability sets are getting smaller and smaller, and shit's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
So,
nope, that's a good example of the sliding scale of things going to shit right now.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're nearly about out of Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean it's a broader thing. I just meant in general.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we're running out of directions we can go with this. All right, let's move on. Triceratops, Big John, got in a tussle. Tell me about this. Sounds fun.
So this is the biggest Triceratops.
I always like Triceratops.
Yeah,
biggest Triceratops skeleton we've ever found. And he was sold privately. Scientists were worried they wouldn't have access. They've been given access. And it appears like he died of a fight.
Ooh.
After you play with their little crest and their little horns and you see how they fit together, it looks like he had a fight with another Triceratops.
Interesting.
And he didn't die immediately. He died of infection later.
Aw, that's sad.
It is sad, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Fun. All right.
There you go.
So I wanted to mention that Ketanji Brown Jackson is now an official Supreme Court judge.
Hells the fuck yeah.
Yeah, good for her.
I thought she had to be sworn in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so that'll happen in June. So we'll have another thing.
Okay. So she's been officially
confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she is going to be on the Supreme Court. So that's exciting, and I am looking forward to
reading her dissents.
Yeah, her bitching and whining
that isn't
about
on this shadow docket.
Yeah.
Yep. We shall see.
And we need to get rid of the shadow docket.
No, anyway, I absolutely hope.
So
who on the court do you think is going to get rid of the shadow docket? Right. Judge Roberts just wrote a dissent for a shadow docket decision.
Yep.
Aren't you not
said
supposed
it
to do
shouldn't
that?
have been on the shadow docket. No, you can write whatever you
We'll
want.
see. Does he break their majority?
No.
We didn't think so.
No.
Which was the goal, because no, he is the best of everything you can expect from the Federalist Society, which isn't great, but understands
in many ways an actual judge.
Understands that it has to stay a long con.
Yeah.
That if you go quarter to quarter on a country, the most heavily armed country on the planet,
Yeah.
we've never seen the center of gravity we will cause.
Yeah.
Right, we will have foreign fighters in this country the next morning once 911 stops working.
Yeah.
So
and again, at this point, the Supreme Court has 3 kangaroos sitting on it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why and that's my thing, because I was trying to be nice, because I wasn't particularly nice when we were watching it. And not for a bad reason. I am so glad she is on. I think she's one of the best jurists I've ever heard. I'm sad we're at a place where she has to give weird answers because the stupid just want a sound bite they can use, and I get it. But that was probably the most offensive thing I've seen, is the coronation and the pageantry for a voice that's not going to mean anything. That zeroed out the value of her on the, right.
On the
For
appellate
as smart
court.
as she was, she was more value to us on the appellate court. We should have put the kid who fucks up the Slurpee machine on the Supreme Court. Or
And just
Hillary
told him-
Clinton. She
Yeah.
doesn't have shit to do, and it'll take her off the fucking table for people going,
I'll
she
go on
can
the
run.
Supreme Court.
Yeah, no, if it's a joke, make it a joke.
Yeah.
If it's not, put Hillary there so people will stop speculating about her running.
All right. You were telling me earlier that France might be going fascist. Tell me a little bit about that.
Marie Le Pen, they've now entered the dark period where no one's allowed to talk about the election anymore.
Right.
So Macron is 1 point ahead, 2 points ahead, right, within the margin of error.
Uh-huh.
And we'll see. It's the French. They've got to.
And there will be a
vote off,
runoff.
and- yeah. So maybe. But yeah, this is some not fucking around. Like, Marie Le Pen is the leader of a not fucking around fascist party in France.
That's messed up.
Which, of course, would align itself with Putin, because Putin's a fascist.
Right.
Or drag its feet, which is enough.
Yeah.
Right.
France,
And
be careful.
then we'll
Walking on dangerous
sanction
ground.
France
We know.
and drive
We've
on.
been
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. No, I know it'll work
And the
out.
Germans would be happy to help us do that.
No, I think that they can put the Europeans in the corner by threatening the EU. I think the EU is too fragile to have their countries go in many directions. Greece nearly fucked up the EU by leaving. Greece, who I love dearly, and I'm sorry all that German money got pumped into your economy and fucked everything up.
Yeah.
But
Maybe you should have resisted the Russians.
they would have, but this was coming out of German banks, because
Agreed, but that's
German
where...
oligarchs got to hide their Russian money somewhere.
Right.
I mean,
But it was
Cyprus-
Russian money.
No, Greece collapsed before Cyprus. My favorite story about the Greece and the crazy with that was the guy that left the bomb at their parliament missing the detonator,
Oh.
which is the biggest. Next time, maybe I don't put
Yeah.
all the parts in.
All
So
right.
I don't fucking make bombs and minus the detonators. Don't make collections of oxidizers and fuel sources. The internet.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Let's just look. We do not want people to commit violence, but sometimes, like, it's just hard not to talk about it a little bit, right? Because
The
there are some
Republican
cases
Party
in
advocates violence every day of
I
the
know,
week.
and it's infuriating and it's frustrating, and it really does, like, kind of lead to bad feelings about, like, wanting to do bad things to people.
Bad
and that's
feelings
not okay.
about people who advocate violence against my family.
My response is kinetic. Sorry, I want to be good, but not that good.
No, but my point is that if they're going to advocate violence against us, I hate that we have to play around and be like, no, don't do bad things.
Agreed.
Even though I aggressively want to go out and do fucking
Okay.
bad things.
No, I understand. Cool.
Don't do crimes. The internet.
No, that's
That's
the
the
problem.
takeaway.
Is like they get to run their mouths and say whatever they want and then be like, oh, I didn't mean it. Whereas as Democrats, if we say something like that and like don't like walk it back and say, look, don't do the bad things, then we get pinned.
Oh yeah.
And all of
This
a sudden we're the bad people because
Yeah.
we made a
This is
joke
why I'm
that
indifferent to the claims of free
suggested that
press.
maybe you should get slapped. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I really hate you. Not
I
allowed
hope you
to
get
do
slapped.
No, she is the scum of the earth.
Yeah, I pray to my God, hoping you get slapped.
Yeah.
Don't worry, my God's pretty slow about it. It took him fucking forever to get Gaddafi.
that.
But God, that was satisfying to watch.
All right, updates with BoomerX. Do you have an Omicron update?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't-
I think besides everyone got it.
Yeah, right.
Well, it
I
turns
remember
out that
Kansas.
official Washington decided that the Omicron
They're
was
not wrong.
over,
They're not
and they
wrong.
held several big events with
Yep.
no masks and
Yeah,
no social distancing. And they gave it to a whole bunch of folks who went to the Gridiron Dinner
Of course.
and in other venues. And again, this is places where fools gathered.
Yep.
Right? People who can't look at the statistics and say, guys, I'm not going to a tight venue with no mask. In fact, I'm not going to a tight venue with or without a mask.
Yeah.
Right. But hey, some of them will pay for it. A lot of those folks are,
I know.
Older. And remember, this is boomer
Right.
remover.
Yeah, but only for the ones who got paid by the hour.
Yeah.
Pelosi's going to get the best treatment available. Garland's going to get the best treatment available.
All right.
Speaking of milquetoast folks.
Nice.
Tell me about climate weirding.
The thing there is that for the second year in a row, we have had a larger than normal rise in methane emissions, and it's virtually all of it associated with the production of oil.
Yep.
We've said before, we know how to get rid of that methane, and we should be putting generators on that stuff and using the electricity for something.
Absolutely.
And if you can't think of anything else, cryptocurrency is a great idea because you can put it in a trailer and park it next to the generator.
Yep.
And your
fucking
electrical
money.
line is 8
Yeah.
feet long.
Yep. No.
So anyway, free money.
Speaking of how
and it
corporations
reduces
don't
the
know the most
impact of the
profitable way to do
methane
things.
by a factor of greater than 3.
Are you telling me if you were a major oil company, you wouldn't have done this already and made it a
I don't
major
understand
PR
why they
blitz?
haven't.
Because they don't give a fuck.
Yep. Because
That's
it's
why.
not about the money or capitalism anymore. It's about being royalty.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's
It's
the
about
only.
being able
That's
to
what
waste
fits best.
things.
Because I agree. Like I've heard my whole life about how corporations do everything more efficiently, which is an absolute
You're
lie.
right. Complete
But-
idiocy.
But there were some numbers in the 70s where that might have made sense, I assume. Like in the 80s, I'm sure a smart think tank could gin something up. In the 90s, it was just momentum. In the early 2000s, it was the war in Iraq.
Yeah.
So, no, it doesn't make sense. Like, again, it's my big defense about, of course we're going to do something about climate change, but you would have to make, right, America won't fall apart because you'd have to make several actively bad choices. And then we made a longer string of bad choices than I've ever seen.
So, anyway.
All right.
The
Anybody?
problem with methane is it's about 30 times as dangerous as CO2. Now, it goes away quicker, but that's not going to make any difference, right? You're not going to survive 10 years of 5 degrees C above normal, which is where we're headed, even if we stop the methane at that point. So, anyway.
No, we're not doing anything about this, and we're not gonna do anything about this. So, unless everybody, like, I don't know, pays attention and votes and like
Look around and see if your support network has enough money to run to the habitable.
So I think
arable
I think
places.
it's time
Yeah.
to start talking about motivating everybody. And I think one way to do that is a general strike.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Strike.
I think it's time to look at the budget and say, no, we're not going to spend $53 billion with the
Making up for the most obvious potential problem for microchip manufacturers.
right.
Get solar panels, start growing vegetables in your backyard, and you can go that much
No,
longer.
but we shouldn't be giving that $53 billion to large companies that make microcircuits.
Yep.
We should look at them and say, take it out of your profits, take a loan, go do it.
Right.
But you're not getting anything from us.
Yep.
Right? Now, if you'd like to do something to help, you could give the same amount of money to their workers.
Yep.
Right? Which would help the economy more. Because when you put it in at the top, first they're going to, tax off 15% for their management.
Did you see the $5,000?
And their management's going to put it into CDs.
Did you see the $5,000 an hour fucking consultant?
Ooh, how do I get that job?
Somewhere in Arizona, I'm pretty sure.
Do I just spout bullshit?
Right now,
all
they're
day?
having a big old legal fight because somebody told the world about this lady getting $500 an hour. So, or $5,000 an hour.
I was going to say, $500 an hour I have gotten as a consultant. So.
Yeah, but you're also
I
like
made $500
wicked
as a
smart,
drug dealer. Like, that's
as
fine.
we would say back in New England. All right.
And
anybody else have any final comments for this evening?
Yeah, I want to talk about general strikes.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought
that's
were
a
talking
longer
about
thing.
it. Oh, okay.
I want to see folks begin to say, hey, working class folks, here's the way. You can just say no.
Yep.
Right?
Work
Just
slowdowns,
disrupt
all
things.
kinds of stuff.
Right? And you'll have to do it sensibly, right? You'll have to understand that there's some people who they're about to be evicted. They have to go to work tomorrow.
Yep.
And so when you have a general strike and they go to work, you say, it's okay, I understand.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
Or you take up a collection so they don't have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got
But
money
you can
for
have a floating general strike. It's whichever county it's in today.
Help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gas stations don't open. Walmart doesn't open.
Yeah.
Or you can let the managers do it. And it just rolls
Yeah, it took John Deere
around.
less than a day to kill a VP trying that shit.
I know. Was it a VP?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a high muckety muck.
Walmart, I feel like, would do a little bit better because they do cross-train people and whatever, but I think that they would struggle even if they just had managers in a store on a day. Yeah.
They would absolutely.
They would have a hard time.
We had an alert once in Germany. It was stupid. And a reminder that, the Russians might not be that dumb. But it was January the 1st. And it started at midnight, right, at New Year's Eve. And, of course, the troops were nowhere to be found. And so all the officers went out to the track park in their dress blues and began to line the vehicles up in the march order that we would need when we found some troops to go to war. And they ran carriers into each other. Fortunately, nobody was hurt.
Huh.
Several of them absolutely wrecked their dress blues.
I believe it.
But there was a fair amount of damage to carriers in the process that needed to be repaired. Not critically, but,
right.
Where they scraped them on each other and that kind of thing. So, speaking of vice presidents managing to get themselves run over at John Deere.
Yeah, no. The only thing I can find, apparently a worker was struck while picketing and died. So that's not major glut of the press.
Okay.
All right.
But anyway, it is time to start taking action that the rich cannot ignore, that the corporations cannot ignore.
And
saying, we're not doing
the
this.
Systems they own.
I would hate to see us say we are not going to the moon. But at the moment, that $10 billion should be spent trying to make
Almost
the lives
anywhere
of...
else.
Yeah, again, America has to work for all Americans.
Yeah.
Get off your goddamn ass and go tell these assholes that you've had enough.
Yeah.
I'm mad and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, well, and we're half-assing it on Russia, and the sanctions are impressive, but we should probably go do some other stuff.
Yep.
And there's no telling if we are or not, and that's fine, but might want to start showing some more.
All right.
I would settle for having stuff in Russia mysteriously blow up.
Yeah.
Mysteriously in quotes. Do it, Russians, do it! Do it, Ukrainians, do it! We believe in you.
Don't do crimes or terrorism.
Yeah, don't do bad things. God damn. All right. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review. I want to give a shout out to old school friend of mine from like way back in the day. You know who you are. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex, or check your favorite podcast service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean. And hit us up on Twitter at BoomerRexTonight. We love you all, and we'll see you back here on Monday for just the news.
All right.
Here it is. Side was babbling.